Welcome to a continuation of the futuristic fantasy series, Humanity's Evolution. Today I'm going to read Part 13. I was saved from having to reply because the crowd instantly became silent. Gershom and I turned to see a tall, skinny man calmly gazing at the people gathered. The person's aura had a commanding presence, and you felt that if you spoke out of turn, he would know. Gershom chuckled, and I had to resist the urge to silence him with a harsh word. My companion gave me a sympathetic look. Dave is one of those rare little dragons who does not have to be in energetic form to make his presence felt, Gershom explained. Little dragons can change form in an instant, but taking the shape of a physical entity meant we didn't have access to the full range of our energetic abilities. Silencing a room as a pure energy being is easy, but much harder as a human. I felt a grudging respect for this lecturer. The man continued to stare at us. He seemed in no hurry to begin. I felt the silence he engendered deepen. His voice, when he finally spoke, was not much louder than a whisper. The audience ceased breathing to hear him. Joseph Dana, in his book The Candace Age, described what he believed at the time was the end of our world. Darkness became the enemy. It breathed, it lived, it ate. Life was its food, and all it did was eat. We were a delicacy it desired. Our world was only an appetizer. Dave quoted, "Joseph was 16 when that darkness nearly destroyed us. The experience deeply affected him. He devoted the rest of his life to education, his primary goal to prevent the human race from ever calling forth again what we now call the Dana effect." Dave paused, and to my amazement the silence became even more profound. We were an enlightened race in the time of Candace Dana. Socially, we were no longer afraid to question differences, and thus we gained a new respect for each other. A person was a person, period. This new attitude helped us to shape our world, so all humans who chose to could thrive. Our progression from a purely physical species to one of energy had become a true reality. Each generation adopted abilities that pushed us closer to the race we are today. So why did the actions of Candace Dana and others like her nearly destroy us? Because they didn't want to change and yearned for the way things were before the first age of enlightenment. Remember, only a mere 300 years had passed since the first enlightened age. We had lived with the concept that human life was cheap for thousands of centuries. They chose to keep the old social code. We soon learned how detrimental their choices were to an emerging energetic species. Their actions attracted a powerful destructive force from the far reaches of the universe, whose purpose was to kill everyone and everything. The reason we survived is that every human became focused on the creature's destruction. We would have lost if just one human had decided to ignore the threat. Dave then paused again. So far I had refrained from taking a single breath during his entire speech. Free choice is something we value above everything, but free choice is also what created the Dana effect. The Planet Project's inhabitants will have our free will, but not our knowledge. I believe creating them is our next big challenge. We would be irresponsible, however, to bring them to life with no guidance at all. That ends Part 13 of Humanity's Evolution. Next week is Part 14. Also in February, a new video series called Storytime Adventures for Adults will be delving into Meg Swanson's fantasy book, Songs from the Depths. To learn more, visit my website, www.reneeannhughes.com. If you'd like to contribute to this series, please feel free to become a Patreon. Details for joining are on my website, and also please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you won't miss any new videos. Goodbye, and thanks for listening.